Okay. Yeah, I didn't have anything to talk about, but I just wanted to put the camera on and just, I don't know, think about what's happening in the state of the world right now. There's a lot going on. There's so much happening right now. It's unbelievable. And it's taken me this attitude of actually not reading the news. Like, I'm someone who loves international relations. I love politics. I love current affairs. I think I want to be aware of what's happening, like, and what's going on in our country and the planet. And because the lives of others across the planet are inextricably tied to us as humans. Um, but it's come to the point where I'm like, I feel like every single amount of news that comes out of these events causes an inner disarray. It's like, it's endless. I think it's almost unbearable. And I know some people might say it's a first world problem, but I don't think it's a first world problem. It really impacts my emotional thinking, and also my sort of purpose in life and what I want to pursue in the arts, and how I wanted to depict this city through painting, and even how to imagine worlds and possibilities and new realities for a planet right now. But I've stopped. I've literally stopped, completely stopped. I stopped looking at the New York Times. I stopped uh, looking at CNN. I stopped reading even centrist news media. I've stopped completely. Like, it's quite unfathomable, actually. I literally stopped. I'm not doing any um, active listening towards what's happening in our country today. Um, and I think for me, the way that I see things is that I want to be able to hold my soul, hold my values, hold who I am as an individual to a high regard. And I think what I need in my life, I need a sort of space where I'm able to confront my mental health, my stress level, and like, I need the sort of blue sky to be able to imagine new worlds for myself, new worlds for the planet. I think it's almost as if we're stuck in these paradigms, these paradigmic shifts of how the systems or democratic systems are evolving right now. And especially in the age of AI, where just over and over everyone's like, yeah, 90% of the jobs are going to get swiped away from the sort of GDP. You keep hearing this, and I think as a futurist, I 100% agree. But we don't know what that even means. Um, I think we're not even prepared as a society. It's like we're fighting over here, yet there's this sort of ancient force that's rising. Um, and we have a crisis of loneliness. We are at an impasse right now. Like, we are at an impasse as a collective. And I think for me, like, I think we have to tend to ourselves. We really have to tend to ourselves. I think tending to ourselves means to tune in to, like, our creative self, to tune in to that selves that connects with nature, to slow down. Have you ever seen when you tend to the earth, things like there's a process to the growth that happens. And I think one must be really present with oneself despite the wounds and the challenges. Tending to oneself is an important endeavor that one must do, like, really tending to oneself. How I do that for me in my life is, yeah, I think the gym. I hopefully I'll post more things about the gym, but the gym is absolutely the moment where I'm like focused, and I feel free to work my body and cope with my body, all the stress, and having a vision for my body. I think, yeah, I do the gym because it helps me think. It helps me exist. It helps me um I don't know, for my mental clarity. It's a key thing. I think that's how I tend to myself. Running also helps as well. Running and playing Above and Beyond. That's the songs that I usually play. Above and Beyond on the SoundCloud. Shout out to them. Um, yeah, we're at an impasse, and we do have to tend to ourselves, and I think how we do that, I think, is important. Is very important. How you do that is very important. Tending to oneself. I think this is a time where we have to slow down. I think there are so many turbulent waves that are pushing us in ways that are radically, radically, like I'm literally like seeing companies who are getting like millions of dollars in funding every day. This is like we are like this is almost like I think there's a convergence of things that are happening right now that as humans we are not able to understand. Like it's just a fact. We're not able to understand what's happening right now. There's too many layers. If someone says that they know what's happening, please run away because we do not know what's happening right now. None of us do because we're human. For me, this is why I evoke the imagination as a threshold that our limitations seemingly are pushed. Um, but all that's happening right now is beyond our control. But I think what we have control over is ourselves. And I'm not preaching an individuality like that is how the West have preached that individuality. I think for me, what I'm preaching is um, an individuality that looks at the world inside of us, an individuality that starts to understand our patterns and behaviors and emotions when we want to grow as an individual, our values, our characters. I think that that's the type of individuality I'm talking about. It's an individuality of presence, an individuality that is familiar with solitude as a healthy way to reflect and to connect with oneself, to integrate parts of ourselves. I I think being in the wellness space as someone who's like taught classes at SON, and has like I feel like I have a very robust understanding of so much of these things, but I feel like a lot of people are just going in their day to day, just going to their day to day, just doing things. Um, I think that's rendered a lot of us numb. That's enforced old patterns and belief systems that the world is designed upon. When we endlessly work our lives, and not really look at our creativity or the way we imagine, how we connect with our souls. I think these types of finer like frames like really hint at the psychology of futures. Is I think for me what I believe in terms of the future is an idea that like we have to we are that future. And if our bodies are damaged, depressed, burned out, um monotonous, that's the body that's going to get disrupted. Those are the systems that get disrupted. um and you're going to be written out as so many people across history have been written out. And I think when people go on the streets, when people do all the things that they need to do, I understand that's part of the process of change, of the democratic change, of people expressing their their politics, expressing their freedoms and their rights. I think that's part of the democratic process, to push the levers of power in such a way that it becomes healthier to the needs and demands of the democracy. But I think how we see things, especially like in our democratic process, I think it begins with us. It's like we have to sort of bring it down. These systems are in us. So I think any future that I want to go into is going to need to be a future where people around me, people in the communities I'm engaging, to be inspired to change their lives, to slow down. I think I think we are at an impasse, and we first have to slow down with ourselves, tend it's so we can tend to ourselves. And once we begin to tend to ourselves, I think that's where the imagination rises. That's where the creativity flows. That's where the new visions for or your life in your in the planet, this sort of dance with transformation is going to happen. Um so yeah, I think we are at an impasse. It's very uncertain. There's a lot of uncertainty. But what I do know is that when I feel stressed, when I feel down, or when I feel that I need more, I think there are ways to channel. There are ways to transmute. There are ways to cope in ways that are healthy, that are not destructive to other people, or not destructive to society. Yeah, I think a lot of this is leading us towards a way of life that I don't think it's like I don't think it's gonna bring us more happiness. I think we have to do this type of flow so we can get at this happiness. We do. We definitely do. Yeah. Scary times. I hope you all take care of yourselves. Seriously.